Welcome to episode 54 of the 2-Minute Warning. Today on the table, AFC playoff picture, more specifically the Cleveland Browns, and if we'll see them in these playoffs. Jay, what do you say?
Actually, if anyone is to steal it from the Cleveland Browns, I think the Raiders will automatically beat them just because that head-to-head win is a big thing to determine between the 6th and 7th seed. So for the fight for the 7th seed between the Browns, Colts, and Dolphins, in my opinion, I think the Dolphins will steal it from the Browns and the Colts, and Dolphins will make the playoffs. Big part of that is the Browns losing OBJ. That's just a big hit for them. Even though OBJ hasn't been the same he was since he was a Giant.
Still OBJ.
His presence, his name, his swag, his brand on that team and in the NFL is just something the Browns love and live off of.
He's the shit, if you know what I mean.
Okay. And he's just Baker's safety blanket, pretty much. So I'm going to stick with, no, they won't make it.
No Browns?
I think the Dolphins are going to take it.
I think there's a solid chance we do see them. They have 3-4 tough games coming up. Other than that, I think they should be able to win some of these. The only thing that I'm really questioning right now is I haven't seen them beat a single good team. I think they played 3 solid teams so far and lost to those 3. So I'm really questioning whether they might slip up and lose to have a stupid loss. But if they don't, then I see them getting it because I don't know how Tua's going to develop through the rest of the season. It really depends on that.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to ultimately say we don't see this Cleveland team in the playoffs. They don't win the games that are against any solid opponents.
Now, Baker did make a few good comeback against Joe Burrow.
Yes, but that Bengals is not a caliber of team that we are going to compare to anything in the playoffs and what they need to do to get to the playoffs. I think the wild card picture looks like the Las Vegas Raiders, the Colts,
or Ravens.
Sorry. Yeah, as the 5 seed, they're Steelers or Ravens. Then we see the Raiders, and then we see either Miami or Indianapolis. I don't like the Browns. Just because Baker, he struggles in big spots, he struggles against good teams. Even their wins this year, he has put up subpar numbers for a quarterback. So short and sweet, I don't think we're going to see the Browns in the playoffs this season.
I mean, if I had to pick, I guess their 2 most notable wins is the Colts and Cowboys. And really, that Colts game, Phillip Rivers was 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I mean, how lucky you can get with that again? And even then, he only won by 9. So it wasn't spectacular. That wasn't a dominant game by any means. And then the Cowboys, really, they put up, I think, 40-something points. But really, there's just a lot of big plays that got away from the Cowboys that game.
OBJ,
that kind of sealed it.
Yeah.
And just reckless turnovers by the Cowboys also. And Zeke's still not the same. So really, I don't even know how notable that game is.
That game, you said the Browns put up probably over 40 points, almost
49,
50. Yeah,
49.
almost 50. But I think Baker threw for under 300, which isn't
I think
that's
was
bad.
the game the Browns ran for 300.
Baker threw for 165 that game.
In a game that you score 49 points, how do you manage to throw for 165 yards? I just don't think Baker is there yet. Now, he's certainly made leaps and bounds of improvements prior or compared to last season. So maybe next year, if this team with a healthy OBJ, yeah, we've said that the last couple years.
I think they need to move on.
I think the problem is Baker Mayfield. I like Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but maybe he's in the wrong spot for himself. I just don't like him here in Cleveland.
And really, we're highlighting the loss of OBJ, but just a few weeks ago, they also lost Nick Chubb, which is a big part of their offense. And I like Kareem Hunt, but Nick Chubb was just a great part for the Browns. I think Kareem Hunt could start anywhere, but just Nick Chubb had a different role. Kareem Hunt was better out the backfield, catching passes, and it was just a great system for them to stick with. But with their next upcoming schedule, they got to play the Titans, the Ravens, the Steelers, Texans, Eagles. I mean, Texans, Eagles, they could maybe win both those, but I think either of those, it's not an easy game. But between the Titans, Ravens, and Steelers, I think they'll take 3 more losses in addition to the 3 already. They'll put them at 6 losses. And then between the Texans, Eagles, Giants, and Jets, of those 4 games, I think they're bound to just give up
at
one
least
mistake.
One, but they could win 4 of those games and end up 10-6. They could easily,
but
they could win those 4 games.
But I just think they'll make a mishap somewhere, and they'll go 9-7, and the Dolphins or Colts will take it from them.
I'd certainly like to see, over the Browns, I'd like to see the Dolphins or Colts. I think both of those teams have a better chance of making an impact, maybe an upset. Because I see, if we see Baker Mayfield and this Browns team in the playoffs, that's essentially a first-round win for whoever we see against them, that, 2 seed. 2 seed or 3 seed.
See, I don't know. You guys seem to have a lot of confidence in Tua, and I just wasn't too impressed by his first start. So I don't know how he's going to do the rest of the season.
Yeah,
He
there's a
could
lot of
A
struggle.
lot of
So
speculation.
this is with a new quarterback and how the Indianapolis Colts are sort of sporadic. All these are just sort of guesses. I mean, I might change mine just because I don't know. You make a good point about how Baker Mayfield's really struggling right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see him, but I could also see him not. It's very possible either way.
Yeah.
If I just wish the AFC was a little tighter. I mean, outside of the top 5 seed,
It's
I
so
mean,
competitive for that wild card spot, but none of those teams are really threatening for a push deep in the playoffs.
when you play Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City
it's
first
so
round,
competitive
no one's
to
standing
not
a
be
chance.
Yep.
So really, as much hope we could put behind the Browns, if they make it or don't make it, they're not going to go in the playoffs and do something no matter what happens. So that's
Right.
my hypothesis.
I'm gonna have to agree with that verdict as well.
Sounds good.
All right, 2 in the morning.
Yes.